Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump just won a major Supreme Court victory. Supreme Court blocks Trump's financial records from immediate release. I'll get to the importance of this in a moment, but let's just read this. Politico. Supreme Court blocks Trump's financial records from immediate release. The ruling is a setback for House Democrats' impeachment probe, but may only be temporary. The Supreme Court delivered a setback to the House Democrats' impeachment probe by blocking a lower court decision that had granted them immediate access to President Donald Trump's financial records. At least 5 justices agreed to the unsigned one-paragraph order, putting the pause on a lower court ruling that had favored a Democratic demand for the materials from one of Trump's accounting firms. No justice publicly noted any opposition to the stay. The ruling will prevent Democrats from swiftly obtaining Trump's tax information as they start to prepare articles of impeachment against Trump. Lawmakers are expected to decide in the coming weeks whether to broaden out their case beyond the swirling Ukraine scandal to include allegations that Trump abused his position for personal financial gain. So Monday's Supreme Court decision is only temporary. Trump's lawyer, so if the Supreme Court does not hear the case, Supreme Court said Monday the lawmakers would access. So if the Supreme Court does not hear the case, then the pause on the lower court order will terminate automatically. The Supreme Court said Monday, which lawmakers. The ruling Monday is the latest twist in a long-running case stemming from a mid-April demand from the House Oversight Committee filed seeking Trump's financial records from Mazars USA, which worked with the real estate mogul before and after he entered the White House. Trump sued to block the demand. In May, a federal judge ruled against Trump, arguing that it wasn't the district court's right to second-guess House panel's demand for president's record. Trump appealed the decision but fell short again in October. Now it went to the Supreme Court, where they said House Democrats don't need the records at this very moment. And even if they don't decide to look at the case, President Trump will almost certainly appeal the decision if the court, if it goes back to the original ruling that Democrats get his financial records. They've yet to actually accuse him of a specific crime. We'll get to that in a moment. But he'll appeal the ruling once again. And the Supreme Court has already, there wasn't any opposition to this, and it's already a 5-4 conservative Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court on Monday delivered a setback to House Democrats' impeachment probe. So let's get to why this is taking place. Democrats have consistently accused Trump of criminal activity, yet they can't prove anything. Democrats and media are absolutely phenomenal at erasing history, virtually erasing history. Clinton had servers. The email issue that they all laugh at is about servers, Servers with top secret intelligence. This is according to Politico. She had 22 top secret emails. How on earth was she able to obtain top secret intelligence on servers and cell phones and computers that were autonomous, that were private, running outside of the United States government? Did these top secret emails grow wings and fly into her BlackBerry cell phone? How did that happen? That's just one of the many questions regarding why Clinton would own servers. She was hiding her communication. In addition to deleting 30,000 yoga emails. But the point is, she was running servers outside of the United States government for 4 years. The fact she had top secret and special access program intelligence on those servers without the protection given to computers running within the Department of Defense or the United States government or the White House or the State Department lends any knowledgeable person, you can even ask Michael Hayden, former intelligence chief, to believe that the servers were infiltrated and hacked. Michael Hayden is on record, even though he ended up voting for Clinton in 2016, as they all did. Oh, the entire intelligence community voted for Clinton. Gee, I wonder why they went after Trump. Michael Hayden stated that her servers, he would lose respect. The actual quote from him is that he would lose respect for foreign intelligence services if they didn't already hack Clinton's servers. And James Comey stated there were 110 email chains containing the classified information, including special access program intelligence. And she had not just top secret intelligence, she had 2,000 plus classified emails on servers running outside of the United States government where President Obama didn't even know, apparently. Of course, he was lying. Now, that is a crime under U.S. Code 793, the 793F statute. You don't need intent. They injected that. Comey did. And everyone on the left, Democrats, liberals, the media ran with it. Well, she didn't mean to. Everything was fine, no problem. Then the State Department did an internal review, said, well, there was no systemic intent or motivation to circumvent laws. Well, nobody knows how she acquired the top secret intelligence. If Trump had servers running for 4 years, they would say that he was writing love letters to Putin. Look, I haven't even gotten to the pay-to-play and the quid pro quo. UBS, Boeing, and these are all like International Business Times broke their weapons deal stories. Uranium One gave money, millions, into the Clinton Foundation. Yellowcake uranium was shipped out of the country. This is according to the New York Times. Why did Uranium One officials give money? Why did all of these different interests give money and then get beneficial treatment? Why is in the campaign emails in 2016, where there's one Clinton Foundation employee that said, yeah, Bill Clinton has 500 conflicts of interest. So we can go on forever regarding the various criminal activities that that Hillary got away with. The issue here is that the United States government, the IRS, has Trump's tax returns. The government already has Trump's tax returns. If there was something, if he was like doubling as Al Capone, or, if he had money, a joint bank account with Putin or a Kremlin official, that would have already been leaked. The United States government already has Trump's tax returns. This is something that House Democrats don't get. This is something that liberals don't get. The original reason they wanted to find out Trump's tax returns or look at his tax returns is because you have all of these hilarious House Democrats who then think they're accountants, and they're going to look at his tax returns and they're going to say, oh my God, you did business in this country and that country, and oh look, you did business in Russia. Well, so what? So did Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin outside at his home. This is according to Newsweek and The Hill. And people don't like me. They say, "Oh, well, you know what? He engages in these conspiratorial narratives." Everything I say, I can back up with an article, and I do. And my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, and recently in The Federalist, backed up. You click on the link, and it goes right to the reputable source, whether it's the New York Times, the Washington Post, whatever. So Bill Clinton got $500,000 to speak at a Kremlin bank with ties to Uranium One. The Russians received 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. The deal went down during a Democrat, President Obama, his administration. So they're trying to say, well, There's a legislative purpose to looking at Trump's tax returns, so we can look, develop, write bills and pass legislation that would help us, go after wealthy people. I don't know what they tried to say that the oversight has to do with developing laws that help the public. That's nonsense. They accused Trump of working with Russia. They spent 3 years. He never worked with Russia. There's no evidence. The evidence was a CrowdStrike assessment, and yes, CrowdStrike was outsourced by the Democratic Party. They would never allow the Republicans to outsource a third-party tech firm. The United States government allowed this. So we have no clue if what they said about the DNC is accurate. They keep playing these logical, like, these ridiculous, absurd, they keep going back this faulty logic. Well, CrowdStrike's assessments were confirmed by the American intelligence community. No, they weren't. CrowdStrike's assessments, we have no clue how they assessed and what they did. They were getting paid by the Democratic Party. So, if the intelligence agencies, 3 of them, run by people who had just utter contempt for Trump, if they confirmed what CrowdStrike stated, why didn't they look at the DNC servers? Only CrowdStrike was allowed to look at DNC servers, and the FBI confirmed copies of those servers, and we have no clue if CrowdStrike gave accurate copies to the United States government and images. This is not rocket science. Even a Democrat could understand this. If the Democratic Party and media would never flip the scales and, you know what? Trump has servers for 4 years, and he managed to funnel top-secret intelligence outside of the United States government into servers running on Microsoft Exchange software. See, so the Mueller probe was complete nonsense. They started it from based on a Steele dossier that was purchased by Clinton, and gossip and hearsay from an Australian diplomat that set up George Papadopoulos, and George Papadopoulos has continually stated he never told this diplomat anything about the DNC emails, and the guy that was supposed to have told Papadopoulos about the DNC emails or the alleged Russian hacking, he stated he never told Papadopoulos anything. Joseph Mifsud stated he never told Papadopoulos anything. So, this is actually an important segment because it kind of ties in a whole lot. They framed and set up Trump. They indicted 34 people for public relations purposes. And so, because lying to Peter Strzok that should not be. Michael Flynn, for example, he was not indicted on working for Russia because nobody was. There's not one American indicted for working with Russia or colluding with Russia or anything, because it never happened. In 2015, in the Hill, the Huffington Post, and the Salon, I said Clinton could not win. She didn't. I was right. And I'm saying Clinton will become nominee. I don't know how, and I don't care how. She will become nominee. Bloomberg isn't there because he thinks he's going to become president. Clinton is going to become nominee and lose to Trump again. But all of this is, it's not about Trump's tax returns. Why do they need to see Trump's tax returns? Because they feel he did something wrong? You're supposed to be. This is the same thing that happened to the Navy SEAL that Trump defended. They accused him of something. They couldn't win in a court of law, and they still tried to hurt him, and Trump said, nah, you're done. And then the Secretary of the Navy couldn't stand it, and then he got eventually fired. Nothing ever works out. So Michael Cohen flipped and sang, and now he's in jail or prison. So it's like they went after people. The only person who actually committed crimes was Manafort, but that was like, years before the election. And Democrats, he worked with Democrats. they weren't caught up in it. Gee, I wonder why. So they're going after Trump for purely political reasons. He never committed crimes. There's actually no crime that he committed. Clinton did commit crimes. Owning servers outside the United States government is a serious crime. When Comey's like, well, if somebody did this at the FBI, they'd be reprimanded. No, they wouldn't. They would be in jail. It wouldn't even be a split second before they'd be in handcuffs and then in jail, because you can't go to the FBI or any intelligence agency and say, oh, I'm just going to use my own servers. I'm going to funnel information from the Defense Department or from this intelligence agency. Hey, I'm sure you trust me, right? Oh, I'm just gonna get fined or a slap on the wrist. No, they would never allow that. But Clinton's the highest diplomat for 4 years. They allowed it. This is the wonderful intelligence community. He's never been right about anything. You can look at from the Bay of Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin, Bush's quagmires. They never predicted the fall of the Berlin Wall. They never predicted anything. And, it's like, yes, we need an intelligence community. Yes, we do, as every country does. But they've set up and framed an incoming president. They found nothing because they set up and framed him. And then Michael Horowitz, the IG report's going to come out, and he'll list all the irregularities, all the broken protocol, and all the bureaucratic mess, and everyone doing things that falsifying data in the application for the FISA warrant for Carter Page. One, Kevin Kleinsmith, who's under criminal investigation, along with a whole bunch of other people under criminal investigation. This is a public record now. Who knew who Kevin Kleinsmith was? Who knew who Peter Strzok was? Now we know who these people are, and they're under criminal. Kleinsmith is under criminal investigation. That's public record knowledge. Gee, I wonder why. Because Trump, when he goes to bed at night, he thinks of Kevin Kleinsmith and Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Comey and Strzok and McCabe and Clapper. And guess what? So does John Durham and William Barr. You're going to eventually it'll be past the election, flipping and singing on that side. Because Trump's going to win again. They're going to realize, oh my God, now he has time on his side. Now, a lot more than the IG report December 9th. So, the issue here is that, and then the IG report's going to say, well, there was no bias. Of course there was bias. Well, I mean, Michael Horowitz, he's actually done an okay job, but it's like, unless they have a signed letter from Comey saying, we will do this because we do not like Trump. And actually, you have Peter Strzok saying, we'll stop Trump. And a whole bunch of negative comments from Kleinsmith and other agents. So it's like how they can come up with, oh, there's no bias. That's nonsense. But look, Andrew McCabe, he was recommended for indictment. We're waiting. Clinton's going to run again. And all of this, from Trump's taxes to the Mueller probe to the Ukraine nonsense, independent voters don't want anything to do with this. They don't care. People don't care. They just do not care about impeachment. This is not Watergate. There was no break-in. Nobody cares. They've convinced themselves that Trump worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads or to hack